Okay, here we are going to read Introduction to Callbacks and Higher Order Function, which I am studying right now on the CSX Cosmetics website. So we are going to read and understand what this means. I just finished study from the video and I do reset all the code and then come back to read it the second time. So you see here, I already computed. Okay, so let's try to read and understand slowly. Introduction to callbacks and higher order functions continue. Now, let's dive in and learn a little bit more about callbacks. Object-oriented programming was the most prominent programming paradigms for 25 to 30 years, but functional programming has taken the lead over the last 5 to 7 years. As Sulanders Mogatu would say, it's so hot right now. The reason for is raised and clear as application grow in complexity. Functional programming gives developer to ability to drive delivery intuitive, stateless, side effect free code greatly stimulates their development process and improve their applications. Callbacks and higher order functions are at the heart of functional programming. And there are an essential part of JavaScript developers' toolbox. Let's explore this concept together from the ground up. Definition. If you type callback in Google search, you will see the first definition as an invitation to return for a second editions or interview. That's definition, not kind of callbacks we are discussing here. In JavaScript, a callback is a function that is passed as an argument to another function. If that doesn't make sense yet, don't worry. We will break it down soon. I will try to read slow because I want to understand what this means. I already read this before, but this is kind of like a second time for me. Okay, let's move on. And what's about higher order functions? A Google search reveals as accurate description a function that takes at least one function as input and or return a function as output. Let's see code example to clarify. We declare a variable const. We declare a variables array set equal to element in array 1, 2, 3. And the next one, we declare a function called update, and we have parameters callback inside. So we'll move on to inside here. But in these things, like if we talk about execution context, it's gonna be another concept. So I'm not gonna walk through here. Okay, so we have a function here called output update, and we accept parameter callback, and inside function we declare output set equal set the value to empty array, and we use a for loop to iterate through each element by set let is the first index equal to 0 and I mean I is the first 0 if the condition less than array.length. Then we come to inside of the for loop, and then we increase one by one. So inside we declare a variable by constant updated and equal to callback function. You see, that's callback is come here, and then we use a callback here. Then we return the element of each element of array, and we put it back to output array, and we return output, something like this. Okay, so let's move on. This is callback function. We declare at 10, and then we accept num and return num plus 10. And the second one multiple by 20. And the last one is stringify. Okay, so and then when we call the function of each callback function, we use the update function is from here to, and then we add function inside update function like to be it's like parameter as argument function, something like, you know. So then return like that. We're not gonna walk through here because I'm here to read and practice my English. Okay, so now, so we have two function. Yeah, okay, this is function one, and then that is function we call. We have two function definitions like callback function and higher order function. And we are executing update with @10 as input. One of these function is the callback, and one of them is a higher order function. Can you guess which one is which? Okay, what again? I'm not gonna read all. Okay, I am thinking this is a higher order function because they can add a parameter as a function. So callback function gonna be this one, @10 multiplied by 20 stringify. That is all callback function. Okay, so spoiler alert, the callback function is @10 and the higher order function is update. See, update. Why is @10 and why is @10 the callbacks? It satisfies these two conditions. Is it used as input in another function call? The second, it is called inside another function. Yeah. Okay. Why is update is the higher order function? It satisfies these two conditions. It take a function as an argument. It's called its input function when it is called. Hence, the term callback as one function call leads to another. So basically, higher order functions have callbacks as inputs and call those callbacks somewhere in their definition to clarify, to clarify. Although we have called a functions a callback or higher order function, they are both just normal JavaScript function. Nothing special about them except the terminologies we use to describe them. When do you use this stuff? As fundamental build blocks in JavaScript, callbacks and higher order functions are used in almost every web application. They solve a general set of code duplication problems. Let's start thinking about those problems. We have built our will builds up our understandings through a series of questions that highlight how we can write cleaner, more powerful code with callbacks and higher order functions. The question begins. Let's say you are tasked with manipulating an array of numbers such as such as stock prices. You begin by testing your skills on a small array to see if you can simplify at 10 to each integer. Okay, you might write some code that look like this. Okay, I'm not gonna explain about code. Okay, actually, can we try to practice to explain? We declare a variable by const arrays and set is equal to variable of array with 3 elements 1 to 3. We create a constant output set to the array empty array. And then we use the for loop to iterate through array 1, 2, 3 and update it and push it back to output. Okay, and then we log output, right? Okay. If there were the only additional, if that were the only additions operations you needed to perform in your application, then this code is absolutely fine. However, you realize you need to add other values too. How would you write a new code to add others value like 20 to each element? Well, looks like we have to copy paste to entire code blocks that to make one change, right? So it's like something just we change, like, okay, this is at 10 and we do like 820, you know? So it feels dirty to repeat so much code for such a small change. And this is inefficient because we have to store all this duplicated code in memory. You may have heard of the dry principle. Don't repeat yourself. This code breaks that principle in colloquial term is don't dry code. For every problem, there is a solution. Now, can we solve these repetitions problems? In other words, how we do abstract away the code that isn't changed. Think about this deeply. Then keep reading. Okay. Stop here if you are just starting to think deeply. No. Okay. If you haven't thought deeply, you shouldn't be reading this. Think deeply. Then come back. I will read. I will continue reading. Start here when you are done thinking deeply. Okay. Time for the answer. Anytime we notice we are writing code that repeats except for one small part, we will return it into a function. The function body will contain the repeated code blocks and its parameter will replace the one things we want to change. For example, if we want to change the number we are adding, just replace all instance of the number with a parameter nums. Yeah, I know. It's like the just num, right? Okay. Let me think. So we not need to add 10, add 2, add 3. So we accept number and we add number in it. Okay. And we use the variable num to be parameter and work through this. Okay. How great is it? Instead of having to copy paste the same code blocks over and over every time, we want to change the number added. We just write one function. Now we have called that function with any number as input and get the appropriate output. Appropriate. I don't know. Just keep reading. Appropriate output. In other words, when you create our functions will parameters like this. We have no ideas which number will be added in the future. Think about how cool is it. Think about how cool that is. We are delivering the function that will calculate any possible addition you could throw at it, and all we did was abstract away one number. This is incredibly useful if you need to frequency transform array element using addition in your application. One step further, think about our stock prices example. If we needed to do was add value to the price and we could clap our hand and go home, we would have all the functionalities we need. Holy. But what if we wanted to perform other operations like subtraction or more complex multiplications? Functions cannot take operator like plus or minus as parameters, so that's one limiting factor. But more importantly, we can deliver custom functionalities through simple value situations. If only we could use other functions as parameter to deliver custom functionality inside our function. Oh wait, we can. First class citizen to the rescues. I don't know how. First class citizen to the rescues. In JavaScript, functions are the first class citizen. This means that function can be passed as input to another functions, as well as returns from other functions modifier and assigned to variables. This gives developer can ability to take this gives developers the ability to use functions as parameters, which we refer to as a callback. So how could we perform more complex calculations in our stock price example? Well, if a number parameters allow us to use any number like 10 or 20, then a function parameters allow us to use any functionalities like addition, subtraction, or more complex multiplication. That's hard to visualize with our concrete example. So here a concrete example. Notice how the update variable has changed, and we can apply 3 different functions to the arrays quite easily. Okay, let me walk through here. It's not long, but I need to understand this code. Okay, like the example before, this one is gonna be changed. Okay, we declare a variable by constants name arrays and set is assigned to value of array 1, 2, 3. And then we declare functions update, accept parameter callback, and inside array is walk through, we declare const output set value to empty array, and then we walk through here. It's a very important part. We use for loop to iterate each element from array. So 1 second. Okay, that's array come here, and then we do let I equal 0 is mean index first. If I is index 0, we will do I if I less than array.length. Now array.length will be 3, and if less than that, go to do inside function. So we declare const updated equal to callback function, which we accept as parameter, and we add that to function callback by each element. The first time we will add number 1, and we put number 1 back to output. Now output equal to first element is 1, and we do again and again and again. So we back to here. So the first one, we add 10 to update, right? So add 10, this is function. So add 10, we accept num plus 10. So array come here first is 1, 1, come to here, and we add 1 to 10. So first return is 11. Second one, we add 2 to 10, so 12 and 13. And okay, okay, that is, this means callback function. This is higher order function which accept callback function as parameter. And callback function call or invokes inside for loop and then return output. Okay, and check. The second one is multiply by 20. It's gonna be same things. Okay, I understand now. Compare to our previous example. We still change the sum variable update. Instead of using plus operator and number parameter, we can replace that code with a function called to the array element. This small change now allows us to use any function referred to as a callback. When we run the update function, this makes updates high order functions because it now take a callback as input or parameter. In fact, I have been hiding a secret from you this whole time. This update function is essentially the built-in map function in JavaScript. You learn map after. Giving callback, map will output a new array where each element is the output of a callback, of a call to callback functions. It provides us powerful tool. It provides us a powerful tool to transform array, and we map transform arrays from old array to new array, map it transform arrays. Okay, repeat myself. And we can control the transformation through callbacks. Wrapping up, let's summarize what we have discussed in this article. Callbacks are functions that are passed as inputs to other functions. Higher order functions takes at least one function as input and or return functions. Although we haven't dug into that aspects of them in this article, you can learn more about that in our post on closure. Okay, closure is the hard part for me too. I need to understand. Functions give us the power to use the same code without copy pasting it. We insert parameters where we like control over changing value. Higher order functions provides an additional layer of abstraction using callbacks as parameters to control functionality instead of simple values. The built-in map function is one example of an incredibly useful higher order functions that transforms array with callback. Okay, guys, so today, how long I gonna be? Oh, it's long. Okay, so thank you so much for watching my video, which I practicing now by reading English and speaking, also studying to be a web developer. So now I'm here because I want to practice my English by reading and speaking. If you have any comment which I should pronounce correct, incorrect, or what I can improve myself, please appreciate that to give me any comments or suggestions or give me advice. Thank you. Bye.